Getting back to our journalist roundtable, we're going to pick things up with how much Arizona is in the national spotlight. And again, Jim, your favorite line, we're going to ruin the magic of television. This is taped prior to January 1st, so there's a lot that we don't know. But let's start with Jon Kyl. How much did he actually serve Arizona during his short tenure in the Senate, Hank?
I think Jon Kyl largely served Jon Kyl's lobbying career while in the Senate. He was kind of appointed to that gig largely due to, well, one, he was close with the McCain family. Two, we needed somebody in a pinch. He made a lot of sense to put him there. What he's done there was largely shepherd the Kavanaugh appointment, which is what he was lobbying on behalf of before he was appointed to the Senate. There's been some great reporting on just how much this will benefit his lobbying career, because he had been out of the Senate for several years. This put him back in the Senate, let him meet all the new senators, built his political clout, and now he's going to retire again back into lobbying. So what did Jon Kyl do for Arizona? He got, Kavanaugh through. I think he's been a smart voice on water issues up there for the state. But other than that, it was a very short tenure, and what it's going to be really doing is boosting his political career.
Dan, I'm just reading your body language. What's going on here?
Well, I think he needs to have a little credit. We know that basically he just warmed the seat, and there's not any way that you could get a whole lot done in that short amount of time. He did make sense. We knew that he didn't want the job full-time permanently, and so we got to give him a little bit of credit for doing what he did. His lobbying career was just fine before. You're right, it allowed him access, but I don't think access was really much of an issue for Jon Kyl before. So we thank him and we move on.
I would vote with Hank's side of this if I had to vote.
That's why you're in the middle.
No one ever accused Jon Kyl of being a dummy, I guess, is what I would say.
All right. Moving forward, Arizona will likely have two very freshmen or rookie senators, and that's new for the state. How likely is that to advance anything that Arizona really needs in the federal scope of things?
Yeah, we went from John McCain, who had been there forever, to Kyrsten Sinema, who's not even technically there yet, being our senior senator, which means that, we no longer have the chairman of the Armed Services Committee, which is a big deal for all our military bases. And it means that essentially Arizona is starting fresh. So it's all kind of up to Kyrsten Sinema, who I think is, well liked in Washington. For a Democrat in the minority, will probably be a pretty effective senator.
I think our friends in Denmark say predictions are hard, especially about the future. And I think in particular with the federal government, that's very true because it is such a state of chaos these days. So we don't know what kind of impact our new senators are going to have once they're sworn in. I know what I've heard is that Kyrsten Sinema is actually already trying to figure out how she can land herself on a VP slot. So we'll see exactly how long she even sticks around to work on behalf of Arizonans, but she's certainly one of the smartest politicians we've seen come out of the Democratic Party in a very long time, and to be able to win in Arizona after the long drought of successful U.S. Senate candidates. We haven't had one since Dennis DeConcini retired in 1992. To be a Democrat and win that slot shows that she's a political powerhouse in the making.
Dan, what does Arizona need in the Senate?
We need someone who's going to represent Arizona. And I think if you look at the long history of John McCain's career, there was a point that he turned his attention from purely Arizona issues to national and international issues. And that certainly is part of the job, and it's important. But I almost look at this as a win for Arizona because hopefully, at least for a time, we're going to have a couple of people who are going to be focused strictly on Arizona issues. They may be looking at that next step, and who knows what that will be. And Kyrsten Sinema is certainly one who I think has not been shy about saying that. But for right now, maybe this is actually a win for us. We can keep their attention locally because we have lost our cachet nationally as far as Arizona goes, but maybe that's not such a bad thing.
I want to go back to something that you said earlier, Jim, or Dan, about we ought to be covering this differently, we journalists. What did we learn from 2018? How do we go forward in 2019?
Boy, what we learned in 2018 is how to manage a newsroom through chaos, and brought on by the president. Even a community newspaper where I am, what the president does affects us, and it affects the way people are voting and what they're talking about, the issues that are important to them. We just wrote a story a couple weeks ago on the stock market. We're Green Valley, for heaven's sakes. Why are we writing about the stock market? Because what the president is doing is affecting pocketbooks very, very locally. And so we have learned to take those national issues and to dig into the local stories, because it's very important. We also have learned that there are extremes on both sides that get an awful lot of attention, but the reality is in the middle, and we need to look and shoot for the middle.
Jim, please tell me it's controlled chaos, right?
Well, I like to think that there's some element of control. I go back to William Goldman, R.I.P., the legendary Hollywood author and screenwriter who passed away. When I think of the federal government now, he said in Hollywood, nobody knows anything. And I think that's what's going on at the federal level now. You used to have some level of predictability, and that's out the window. So 2019 is going to be another fascinating year, certainly to watch. Raul Grijalva and his position in the Environment Committee is going to be, we already saw Ryan Zinke is out at Interior ahead of the investigations that are coming in that department. And man, fireworks are ahead. That's all I can say.
Hank, tell me it's not all doom and gloom.
No, it's all doom and gloom. Yeah. I mean,
Great.
It's, I think that, politics is always a weird business. It's gotten significantly weirder in recent years. So, just rolling with the chaos.
What's our level?
But when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. So we have that going for us.
And what's our level of responsibility as journalists, given, we're being looked at differently these days. It's nothing like we have seen in our time.
I think the level of responsibility has to start with the individual, and we've seen a lot of people who have just cut themselves off from social media, cut themselves off from watching, particularly in my area, cable news from 6 a.m. to 9 at night. Okay, maybe it's 7 at night, it's Green Valley, but they're cutting themselves off because they're exhausted, and they're tired, and they're depressed. And we keep bringing this to them every day. And I get phone calls at a community newspaper saying, too many political letters, and we don't like the political cartoon. We need a break. And so we need to recognize that sometimes we have to cover important issues, but sometimes people need a break. Do we keep beating a dead horse? Are we just hammering away at this maybe too much? And sometimes I think we are.
Has this set the timer on 2020, albeit it's a ways, but politics, people do have voter fatigue at this point, but will they remember what they're consuming right now?
I think the politicians do not have political fatigue, and so yes, they're lining themselves up. Like I said, there's already Democrats figuring out, hey, Democrats can win statewide in Arizona again. I want to get in line in 2020. You're seeing jockeying for the 2020 Senate race on the side for Democrats. So, and certainly on the presidential front, you're going to be seeing the same thing. So yeah, I think that the politicians are off to the races. I agree with Dan. I think a lot of readers, viewers, citizens are in need of a break.
We wrapped up our discussion with some bold predictions from our panel about what will make headlines in 2019.
We're going to have some fun now. Left to right. Hank, you're in the hot seat first.
Bold political prediction for 2018.
What is your bold 2019 political
2019,
prediction?
You're off. Oh, man.
No phoning a friend. You have less than 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to use all 10 seconds. Hold on. All right, I'll go with Ducey makes a big deal out of school safety, attempts to pass the same package that he did last year, and has to really wheel and deal with the Democrats to get it through. I think at the end of the day, he does get it through, including the anti-Second Amendment provisions that are in there that killed the bill last year. But I think with Democratic support, both in the House and the Senate, he gets some sort of school safety measure, including the ability to take people who are deemed dangerous as guns away.
Okay.
I'll let Dan. I'm going to pass
you're
to
gonna
Dan while I
pass to
work
a
on
friend.
mine. That was an awfully good one. And
You're going to buy an extra
a
10
little
seconds.
flummoxed.
I believe that the president's undoing will be found in the economy, and I think we're going to see that in 2019. Fewer jobs, less cash in the paycheck, and I think people are finally going to turn on him, to be honest with you. And I'm talking about people in the Republican Party. I think that his approval ratings will go the lowest we've ever seen for any president.
Let's take this a step further. Housing market, Right now, it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. Will it become a buyer's market?
Probably. I think we're seeing a lot of, down where I am, just mixed results right now, people trying to decide whether this is a good time going into this very uncertain economic future to make a change. And when people do that and they pause, it tends to hurt the economy.
All right, Jim, we're going to give you the last word on this. Don't disappoint.
After a hard-fought Democratic primary between Rahina Romero and Felicia Chu, Rahina comes out on top, this Democratic nominee for mayor, and ends up taking City Hall in 2019.
Wow, I did not see that one coming. Breaking some news here on Arizona 360. Jim Nintzel, never disappoint. Dan Scheer, Hank Stevenson, my thanks to all of you.